Yo, just a quick announcement before we get into today's video. These FTF Classic tees are finally available. They will be linked in the description. When I picked them out, I wanted it to be something that was really good and like just well suited for dunking. So something that was really lightweight, really stretchy, really soft. And that's exactly what it is. So if you guys want to go get one, by all means go do so. It would mean a lot to me. And yeah, enjoy the video. Peace. Come stretch with me, come stretch with me. Let's prevent some injuries. Yeah, no, I'm not putting that in the video. Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video. Now, for today's video, it's going to be a little bit different. What I thought I would do is take you guys through my full static stretching routine that I do on a regular basis. Now, I realized I haven't actually shown much of, the recovery and in specific, the static stretching stuff. Even though that's a huge component of what I do, and that's mainly because one, it is a little bit boring to film and probably even a bit more boring to watch, but then after that I realized it still adds a lot of value and it's still super important, and it's a big reason of not only why I've avoided some major injuries, but also why I've increased my vertical. So I thought, even though it might be a little bit boring, I'll go a little bit in depth showing you what I do. So even if you find it a bit boring, I recommend just try get through the whole video. You might learn something that could benefit you and just help you. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so now the first exercise that I always start with is one that stretches out my groin. So common exercise, you've probably seen this before. Just bring my feet together, bring it as close as I can. And now I'm just using my elbows to sort of push my knees down. And if you are doing it correctly, you will feel that stretch all along here. It might hurt a lot, might hurt a little depending on how tight your muscles are. And I usually hold each of these, pretty much every single exercise I'm about to show you, I do hold for about 20 to 30 seconds. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do each for 20 to 30 seconds, but that's usually how much I'll hold each for. So push it down as much as I can, and you really feel that stretch. So the groins are something that can get really easily injured, especially if you don't warm them up properly or if you're not stretching them regularly. So super important exercise, make sure you do that. From here, I like to go on to stretching the glutes. So like this, one leg over the other, keep this leg straight. Now with this leg, I just like to hug it really close, keep it really close to my chest. So you'll feel that in your glutes right here. Now, make sure you're not releasing the tension and slowly, letting it come away from your chest. Make sure you keep it there, keep it tight, and you will feel that stretch. Again, it'll just depend on how tight you are. I just did a dunk session yesterday, so it is pretty tight right now. Hold that for about 30 seconds. Hold that, and then same thing on the other side. So, like that, just over, push it. Oh, that knee crack. And this is probably my favorite exercise for the glutes, just because it's so effective. I can really feel it in my glutes every time I do it, and it helps keep the glutes loose. It prevents them from getting super tight. So just like that, 30 seconds each side. Now from here, what I like to do is put my hands here like this, and then one leg over the other. Now, some people like to hold it in that position, like just how I am now. What I like to do is actually slowly get my butt down to the floor until it's sort of resting, which puts a lot more stress on it. But then I just move my hands back a little bit, and you also feel this. This is also targeting sort of the hip flexor / glute area. A lot of these exercises, that's the area they sort of target. But we'll get to sort of hamstring, calves, all that posterior sort of side in a second. So again, 15, 20. I'd say for this one, you can go for maybe about 15, 20. Hold that, really should feel it. You should feel it sort of on the inside here, and then switch, same thing. Just like that. And after you finish this one, then we'll move onto the quads, which I like. Definitely, the quads is definitely important because tight quads is probably like one of the main causes of jumper's knee. So I really sort of make sure I'm stretching my quads properly. That's one of the most important. So what I like to do for the quad stretch, now there's a few different ones. What I like to do is get it here, sort of lie onto my side. And what I like to do is sort of just pull this back, just like that. pull it back as much as I can, and then what I'll do is I'll just sort of lean my body towards the other side. So what this does is it just puts that really sort of strain, because you're sort of putting all your body weight towards this side, but you're sort of stretching it, this leg completely towards that side. You will feel a stretch on this if you do it correctly, trust me. And what I've realized after this exercise is my quads get way looser. So, you know, sometimes they'll be super tight, and then after this exercise I can sort of see them shaking up a bit, super loosen up, and really good for prepping for a dunk session or a workout or something like that. Again, a few seconds, after a while, man, these knee cracks. After a while, switch, same thing. This actually hurts really bad. This one probably is the most painful out of all the whole sort of stretching workout thing. Alright, now after that I like to get into sort of the main hip flexor stretch. So just like this, as you can see, the leg should be placed on a 90-degree angle, just like you would when you're doing a lunge. So just like that. And then what you want to do from this position is make sure you're basically sinking your hips down into your quads. So just like that. So this is unsynced, and then you're sinking it like that. You really feel it, one, in this quad here, but then you also feel it up in this hip flexor. I like to sort of lean back a little bit because it sort of helps with the lower back as well. Helps engage the lower back. Hold that for about, now this one I only hold it for about 15 seconds. Just like that. This is probably one of the most important because hip flexors get tight super easy. And if you're doing something like sumo deadlifts, then it'll get even tight even quicker. So that's something you should really pay attention to. And then switch. Having you know, well-functioning hip flexors for jumping is one of the most important things. So this exercise you can't miss. Super important you include this one. Again, just a bit of a lean back. Alright, now from here, what I like to do is sort of stretch the sort of IT band / glute area. Now for this exercise, all I do is sort of just lie down straight. Hopefully this is in the frame. Just get this leg, turn it right over here, as far up as I can, and then just twist my upper body towards the opposite way. So just like that. You should really feel it here, or down here a little bit. And then same thing on the other end. So just like that, and then like that. After this exercise, definitely can feel it loosen up my glutes and my IT band. And I've been having IT issues as well, so really helps with that. Alright, then from there, what I like to do is this one. So I'll bring my knee out like this, 90 degrees again, and then just sort of put it down on the floor like that, and then lean onto it. So hopefully you can see this. Now with this exercise, at first it feels super awkward and it takes some time to get used to it. The first few times I did it, I couldn't really hold it just because I felt like I was going to cramp up or something. So if that's the case, just ease into it. Maybe start with just holding it for like 5-10 seconds if that's the maximum you can do. And then slowly and gradually increase that. But this one's super important as well. And then other side. This really helps with like mobility. Well, all of them will really help with mobility, but especially this one I feel helps with my mobility, my hip mobility. Okay, and then from there, what I like to do now is actually go into some lower back stretches, because obviously going into a dunk session or a workout with a tight lower back is gonna decrease your vertical or your strength by a lot. So what I like to do for my lower back is just, that's this simple stretch. So here, keep my hands just here by my side, and then just push up, hold that, breathe in, breathe out, repeat that, and just hold this. Now I like to hold it just in this position. What some might experience, especially if you have a very tight lower back, is if you hold it in this position for very long, it will start to cramp up. So in that case, what you can do is hold it, and if it starts to cramp up, you can go back down just to relieve the tension. and then come back up. So just like this. Okay, say it starts to cramp, just go back down, give it some rest, come back up, go back down, come back up, and from a side angle it should look something like this. Now, those exercises pretty much cover the whole, apart from the back one, those pretty much cover the sort of glute, hip flexor sort of area. Now, what else? The other sort of posterior side is another one you have to take care of. So obviously, first one I like to do is hamstring stretch. Now, usually I'll do this standing because I feel like I can get more of a stretch, but if you want to do it just sort of seated like I am now, that's fine as well. You can do sort of one, and then to the other, or you can do both at the same time, which is a little bit more difficult. Gets a bit more of a stretch that way, so I like this. Now with this, I try to sort of get further and further each time. So obviously if I'm just sort of trying to aim for the same spot, then I'm not really going to increase my flexibility. So say for example for a first few weeks, if I can get here, then I'll stay there, and then after a while slowly try to reach further and further. That way you're continuously increasing your flexibility. You're not just sort of staying at the same spot. Just like that. Another variation what you can do is widen it and then go reach for the middle, reach for the sides, like that. But I prefer just to go like that. Okay, and the last one is just a calf stretch, which I have a video of which I'll put on the screen right now. Now for the calf stretch, I do about 3-4 sets on each sort of leg, just because the calves, for me, I feel are the muscles that get tight the easiest. So I do a few different sets just to help with that. But other than that, that's about it. That's all the exercises I do, and all these exercises help a huge ton. So if you aren't doing some of these, I highly recommend you do. If you are already, then I would say just keep doing them on a regular basis, maybe every second day, because they'll really help, prevent any, serious issues. And even if you feel like your body feels fine, you're jumping great, I would still do it, because eventually your body will catch up to you. So you want to, stay ahead of your body. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.